I remember the sound of the pen scratching against the paper more than his voice when he signed the divorce papers. That sound, cold, deliberate, cut deeper than any words could. My husband sat across from me, not meeting my eyes. His mother beside him, smug in her silence. And my sister, standing in the corner like a shadow that had betrayed its owner. He didn't even hesitate. He looked at me once, brief, almost apologetic, and then slid the papers forward. "Sign," he whispered, as if that single word carried the weight of all their lies. I signed. Not because I accepted defeat, but because I knew the game had only just begun. When I first met him, I thought he was different, kind, steady, with a way of holding me that made me feel safe. And his mother? She welcomed me with a smile too sweet, too rehearsed. I mistook politeness for acceptance. Over time, I noticed how she whispered in his ear, how her eyes lingered on me as if measuring my worth. She never said it aloud, but I felt it, her judgment, sharp and constant. And my sister? She was always in the background, jealous, restless, but family. I never thought she'd reach for what was mine, not until my mother-in-law planted the idea like a seed. She's stronger, she's better for him. Those words poisoned everything. The first sign was small. He stopped touching me. No hand on my shoulder, no warmth in bed. Then came the excuses. Late nights at work, sudden business trips. His phone always turned face down. One night, I walked past the study and heard his laugh, the one he used to save for me. I pressed my ear to the door. Her voice answered, my sister's. It felt like the air had been punched from my lungs. I didn't confront him. I didn't scream, didn't cry. Instead, I memorized every detail. The dates, the whispers, the lies. Because rage without patience is useless. I wanted precision. After the divorce, they thought I would crumble. They married quickly, as if racing to validate their betrayal. His mother told everyone I was too weak, too emotional, unfit to stand beside her son. I played along, silent, distant, the broken ex-wife, abandoned and pitied. But silence has its power. While they flaunted their new life, I built mine in shadows. I worked harder than ever. I invested. I studied. Brick by brick, I built a fortress around my life. I learned who his business partners were, where his mother's influence ended, and how my sister, now his wife, struggled to keep up with the image of better. I didn't need to ruin them overnight. I needed time to make them believe they had won. Years later, I sent out invitations. A grand party, my name on the banner, my house glowing with wealth I had earned without them. The guest list was carefully chosen. Every partner my ex-husband once begged for investments. Every woman his mother tried to impress. Every man who had once turned me into a ghost. And then I invited them. My ex, my sister, my mother-in-law. When they walked in, I greeted them with a smile that didn't tremble. They looked at the chandeliers, the crowd, the success carved into every corner of my home. They smiled too, though theirs cracked at the edges. But it wasn't the house that shook them. It was him, the man standing beside me, his arm around my waist, the man whose name they knew all too well, because he had once been their savior, their dream investor, the one man who they had burned bridges with while chasing their selfish desires. My husband, my real husband now. Their faces paled. My sister's wineglass tilted in her hand. My mother-in-law's lips parted, words trapped in her throat. And my ex? He froze, the weight of his choices pressing down until his smile shattered. I let the silence stretch before I spoke. "Everyone, meet my husband," I said, voice steady, carrying across the room. The man they once worshipped as untouchable shook my hand and kissed my cheek, his presence alone cutting through their arrogance. I saw the exact moment realization struck them. Every deal they had failed, every door that closed on them, it had been him, guided by me. They hadn't just lost me, they had lost the very world they tried to claim. My ex shifted, as if trying to speak. But what could he say? That he traded loyalty for betrayal only to end up with nothing? That the woman he left behind now stood taller, stronger, untouchable? I leaned closer, my words just for them. You wanted stronger, better. Now look at what that really means. They left early, their pride dragging behind them like broken glass. The crowd never noticed their retreat. The party roared on, laughter spilling across marble floors as I stood at the center, no longer a victim, no longer a ghost. That night, when the last guest left, I stood alone by the window. The city light stretched before me, endless and bright. I thought of the woman I had been, the one who signed those divorce papers, silent and bleeding.